down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. Living is easy with eyes closed, misunderstanding all you see. It's being hard to be someone, but it all works out. It doesn't matter much to me. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. No one I think is my tree. I mean, it must be high or low. That is, you can't, tune in, but it's alright. 'Cause I think it's not too bad. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. I always know sometimes I think it's me. I mean, it knows a strange dream. I think it is, no, well, yes, it's alright. That is, I think I disagree. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. Strawberry fields forever.
And now Pastor Donna will lead us in our grounding meditation.
Can everybody stand up? Ground your feet into the floor. Shoulders rolled back, nice and straight. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. And let it go. Another nice deep breath in. And let it go. So imagine as far up as you can imagine a bright, bright white light. And allow that bright light to come down towards the top of your head. As it gets to the top of your head, just watch it enter, come down through your neck, through your chest, your torso, down your legs, through the bottom of your feet, through the bottom of this building, and into Mother Earth. And as it hits Mother Earth, I want you to imagine roots just going in every direction in Mother Earth. And allow those roots to be any color they choose to be. Feel the steadiness in your legs as these roots are going down, down into Mother Earth. And now just feel the connection through these roots with all beings on this planet. Feel the connection compassion for others. Feel the love for others. Just let that be for a moment. Now, bring that energy as it stays out there with all the other beings, but bring it also back up through those roots, up through your legs, and let it just be in your body. That rooted feeling creates balance and steadiness. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale it out. Deep breath in and exhale it out. One last grounding deep breath in and let it out. And just keep this grounded feeling throughout the day and the week with you. And if you find yourself lacking that balance, just go through this process anytime. You can open your eyes. Thank you.
And now for our invocation, Esoteric Energy Fellowship. Good morning, APATH. I am Pastor Jan, in case you don't know that, and we will begin our service today with an introduction of who we are and some announcements. So we are a path of enlightenment. All people, all truths, house of enlightenment. So if you take the first letter of each word and put them together, it spells out APATHOE, and in it is spelled a path, and OE is of enlightenment. So that's how we get a path of enlightenment. It's built into the name, and we didn't know that when we named our spiritual center. So we are a spiritual center, and we're non-religious and LGBTQIA+. So we should remember that the A in LGBTQIAA+ stands for our allies, without whom I don't know where we would be today. Probably back in the dark ages, as in some countries, might line us up and shoot us. But that's not in this country. We do have a fight to continue of social justice, and I hope everybody gets on board. Stick with us. We'll be doing some workshops and classes on social justice, amongst other things. So our website is apathoe.com. Again, that's apathoe.com. And again, that's the first letter on each word of our name, which is All People, All Truths, House of Enlightenment. So thank you for joining us today, both online and in person. We appreciate and are eternally grateful for your viewing and participation, and also for whoever watches on demand, including me, because I always do that to see what we might be able to do better in future weeks. So we have a global vision, and we have developed and are still developing many support programs for the LGBTQIA+ community, including programs for alcohol, drug use, dysfunction. This is all under the umbrella of Dawn's House of Healing and Recovery, which will also tend to people that are victims of sexual abuse, domestic violence, and other forms of violence and transition. We intend to build group homes for runaway teens, and to, in the meantime, set up host homes so that we can help get these kids off the street that have been forced out of their house by their parents because of who they are, or fled because the treatment at home was unbearable for them. So if not us, then who? We see it as our job to take these children and these teens and help raise and support them. So that's the purpose of the host homes and the group homes. We're looking for volunteers always. We need, well, pretty much any skill that you have, people skills, marketing skills, fundraising skills, social media skills, website skills. We are a very young spiritual center. We just got started with our services last year, and we have been in the making for the last 4 years, setting up everything, writing our constitution and bylaws, developing programs, developing our website and all of our social media. And by the way, you can find us on most of the social media, and hopefully we're streaming live on Facebook. And you can also find us on YouTube to watch our church services, our spiritual center services at any time on demand. As well as several of the other platforms. Anybody that allows video, we upload the on-demand video everywhere we can upload it after our service on Sundays. So please join us if you are able and are a person that has what you need and you have some extra to share. You can go to our website, and in the top right-hand corner of every page is a red help us out, donate button. Please feel free to do that if you're so inclined. Reach out to us, leave us a comment. My cell phone number is everywhere. Text me, call me. Join us, and you will not regret it. There is not a good person on the planet that can come to our service, be part of us, and not find their happy place. Like I said, we're non-religious, and we teach goodness and kindness and social justice and peace and spiritual transformation from within. Being the best version of yourself is our goal to help everyone do that. So please join us. Now, this is the time in our service where we begin our invocation. And what that is to us is we will in turn call out names of people that we know or circumstances surrounding people that we know. At the end, we'll have a musical sound bath that will come together, and will send healing and love energy to all the people that we mentioned. Before we do the sound bath, though, we'll go to the candle table, and we will light candles for each segment of the LGBTQ community, as well as zones around the planet for all people suffering, and for war zones and conflict zones. And we'll light additional candles for love and peace for all people everywhere. And then we'll do our sound bath that will be all inclusive for everything that we mentioned during our invocation. So at that time, if you'll please focus your energy and send all the love and healing and peace that you can to everyone mentioned. And if you're out there online, please text over the names or the circumstances of the people you know and love and are close to, so that we can include them in our sound bath and our energy sending. Okay, I'll go first and give you an example. Please send love and healing to my daughters, Dawn and Julie, to my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, and my brother, Charlie, and his wife and his kids, and their kids, and to my cousins and their kids and their kids, and to all of my friends, particularly those that are ill, like Diane Holcomb and Teresa West and Diane Watson, and those that have lost their adult children and or their spouses, such as Vicki Larson, Marty Clardy, Diane Wolcott Watson, Jeannie. There's a host of people that I know that are suffering these tremendous losses. So please wrap them in your love and healing as we do our sound bath and send this energy to the people that need it. Now, in turn, if you'll all call out people that you know that we, excuse me, that we can include in our sound bath today.
My grandson Dominic.
For Dominic,
Jada, Noah, and Nico.
for Jada, Noah, and Nico.
For Heather, Rachel, and Josh.
For Heather, Rachel, and Josh.
For Rena, Gabby, Haley, and Danny.
For Rena, Gabby, Haley, and Danny. And let me include my ancestors, all who have crossed over, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, all of my aunts and my uncles, as well as my loving mother and my father. Please wrap them in love and healing as well. Are there any ancestors that anyone else would like to include? Well, let's just do that. Please include all of our ancestors of everyone in person here today participating and everyone out there online, all of our families and friends and loved ones. Let's wrap them all in love and healing today. Pastor Donna, if you'll come up and help me with the candle lighting, that would be amazing and wonderful. Thank you. So let's begin with lighting candles. Let's light the 2 brown candles for healing and for love. And we'll start with the red candle for our lesbian sisters. And the orange for our gay brothers. And the yellow for our bisexual siblings. And the green for our transgender siblings. And the blue for our queer and questioning siblings. And the purple for our intersex and intersexual siblings. And those 2 A's for the asexuals and our angel allies. And now we'll move on, the red candle for all people everywhere on planet Earth. And the purple candles are for our war zones. So one for Israel, one for Gaza, one for Ukraine, one for Russia, and one for the hostages. And let us now join in our sound bath. If you're at home, please pick up any instrument or use your body to drum on. And let's make some healing, love, energy to send to all of those that we just included in our invocation. Thank you, that was awesome. And now, Bruno Mars's Count on Me.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll send a guide to find you. Ever find yourself lost in the dark you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of. We are nothing about friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Ooh, ooh, yeah. If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing this song beside you. If you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I remind you. Find out what we're made of. We are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Always be on my shoulder when you cry. Never let go, never say
chakra teaching with Pastor Donna.
Okay, everyone. Go through the candles, we're gonna light them. First one is the root chakra. And it's red, it's at the base of your spine. Second one, the sacral chakra, it's orange, it's a couple inches below your belly button. Third chakra is the solar plexus. It's connected to the color yellow, it's a couple inches above your belly button. Fourth is your heart chakra. It's green, that's right at your middle of your chest, your heart space. Fifth is your throat chakra. It's light blue. It is right at the tip of your collarbone right there. Sixth is your third eye. It's indigo. In the middle of your forehead right here. And the seventh is the crown chakra, and it is at the very top of your head. So, last time we were together, we talked about the root chakra, and I want to stay on that one just for today. The root chakra is connected to the earth. It's the earth element, and it is red. It is at the base of your spine, and it is all about your life here on earth, your earthly things that you go through, your feelings, your family, and if it is out of alignment, you are going to experience fear, anxiety, depression. You might have a really hard time connecting with people if we, or when we take the time to balance this chakra. You are going to start experiencing more peace in your life, a groundedness. Where you can take deep breaths just like that and feel the peace that's within you. You can create amazing connections with others. You can make amazing connections with yourself and feel good about yourself and create a wonderful life. So, ways to ground and connect to this chakra is imagine at the base of your spine a red sphere and it's turning. Just imagine that. You can close your eyes if you like, if that makes it easier to imagine it. Just see that red sphere moving. Take a nice deep breath in and let it go. This is one way to do it. Others are to walk in nature. This is connected to the earth element. Take your shoes off and walk in the grass. Anything that is grounding to Mother Earth. So I ask you to practice this week. If you get to a place in your day that you just feel scattered, or somebody hurt your feelings, or you're just not feeling strong or peaceful, just take a moment and close your eyes and take a couple of really deep breaths and imagine that red sphere turning, and imagine just peacefulness and feel the difference in your body as you're doing that, and even send red roots down your legs and into Mother Earth, and you will start feeling that connectedness and that grounded feeling. Your feet will feel, heavier into the ground. So that's your assignment for this week. Thank you.
Thank you. And now Dan Morrison's Into the Mystic with our music director, Lee. Our thirsty music director.
We were born before the wind, also younger than the sun. And the Bible was one as we sailed into the mystic. I can now hear the sailors crying, smelling, seeing, feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic. When that phone blows, we'll be coming home. When that phone whistle blows, I wanna hear it, I don't have to fear it, oh. I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. And innocently we will flow into the mystic. When that phone blows, I will be coming home. When that phone blows, I will hear it. I don't have to fear it, 'cause I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. Together we will float into the mystic.
Thank you, Ree, for the musical treat and inspiration in life that you are.
And now level up with Jan, Pastor Jan.
Okay, this is the time in our service where I give you some words of wisdom. So once again, let's hope I'm wisdomful today. So we left off before our winter break for the snow and ice storms. We were talking about our, what I like to call our personality gap, where who we are and who we present ourselves to the world to be are two different things. The world sees us very differently than we really are inside. So I want to talk a little bit more about that gap, take a little deeper dive today, and say this, that the person that we are is what we feel inside, our authentic self of just being. So when we're being our authentic self, what are we thinking or feeling? What's inside of us? So it might be, who am I? Am I the best person I can be? Who is God? What is God? Is there a God or a higher power of some sort? What is the purpose of my life or anyone's life? Why are we here? Are there life forms on other planets? Are we the only ones, or are there more that we're unaware of? These are the things that run through any normal human's brain, and they're the feelings that we have embedded deep inside us. These are the questions that we ponder in life, and so we should. Let's talk about that piece of who we are, who we want to be, who we can be, and how we can change so that that gap, who we are and who we present ourselves to the world to be, so that we can make that smaller, 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 until it just evaporates in thin air. And can you do this? Yes, you certainly can. And the good thing about this process is this. You know, in many other processes where you expunge from yourself the things that you don't want and try to filter in the things that you do want to become the best version of yourself that you envision, and don't ever quite get there. The good thing about this process that we believe and teach it here is that you don't have to tell another flawed human just like yourself, you don't have to confess all. You remember when we were little and our mother usually said, "Who took that cookie? I see there's a cookie missing out of the cookie jar," or "Who broke that toy or dish? Who didn't take out the trash? Who?" And you had to confess, "I did." And it was terrible. You had to tell the things that you did that you weren't supposed to do, that no one wanted you to do, that made you that bad girl or bad boy, and you had to tell other people. And then you went to school and you had to do the same thing. The teacher said, "Who didn't do their homework today?" And you're like, because you don't want to tell people the stuff that you feel inadequate about, the stuff that you do clumsily or crappy, quite honestly. The choices that you make that are less than good. They're ugly sometimes. I know I've made them, and so has everyone else. Nobody escapes it. So when we have to confess all the things that we do, we grew up having to do that. And when we become adults, we can pretty much confess or not confess. But here's what we do instead of telling other flawed humans what we do that we wish we wouldn't. We want to fit into this human box. We want to fit right in and be just like everybody else. So what do? We create a facade. And we show only the things that make us fit into that human box. The rest of them, we hide. We hide it from the world. And the more we hide, the bigger that gap is. So down here is who we really are, and up here is who we show to the world, because we see that as the better version of ourselves. And why do we think that the facade is the better version of ourselves? Because it looks like everyone else. That's what you see everyone else doing. They all fit into this human box where everybody likes you, you're popular, nobody rejects you, you don't have to confess to anybody, you're just perfect all the time, and that's your best foot forward. But the problem is you're not in the real when you're doing that. You're not being the real you. You are being a fake you, an impersonation of you. It's the you identify with because we all want to be like everybody else. We don't want to be different and stand out and be a sore thumb and be rejected by our friends, by our family. We already get that enough. We don't want to add to it. So we create this vision of ourselves. And gosh, our parents and every other adult on the planet while we were growing up helped us create that vision of who we're supposed to be. It's why we become a doctor instead of a dancer. It's why we choose to live in a tent in the wilderness. Or we don't choose it. That's what we want to do. But instead, we buy a house and get a mortgage and the white picket fence and do that thing like we're expected to do. So we don't do the things that are inside us. We don't say them and do them and expose ourselves to the rest of humankind, because when we do, we become a unique individual. We're unlike the rest of the world because they're not showing their real self either. This is planet-wide. This goes on with all humans. There is that gap. In all humans, no one is exempt. The only way you become exempt is to start closing that gap and do away with it so that you don't have that gap anymore. So who you are is who you present to the world. And when you do that, you're the best version that you can be. So that's all easily said. How easy is it to do it? Well, it's not necessarily the simplest thing in the world. It does take some self-discipline, and you do have to follow the process. But the really good news is that you don't have to expose whatever it is you want to change about yourself. You don't have to tell the tales, for me, of Jan. I don't have to tell the Jan tales to anybody else. All I have to tell them to is my higher self. You might call your higher self something else. You might call it your source or your higher power. I like to say our higher self is us merging with the divine when we learn to be. What is that being? That is when we are not living our external life with all the things around us. The chairs and the people and the places and the things and the cars and the boats and the RVs and the running around and the going out to dinner. That's our external life. Our internal life are back to those things we ponder. The things inside us that we feel, not our emotions that we run away with, our feelings, our deep-rooted feelings. And does our brain enter into that? Yeah, it's very interconnected. So we think about these things, and sometimes they keep us awake nights. And we wonder, how will we find these answers? Some people turn to their higher power. Some people go within. I'm one of those people. I believe that all the answers to all the questions we have lie right here within us. And how do we find those? Once again, if you've been here more than just 20 minutes, you know that my answer pretty much to everything in life is meditation. Meditation is getting the answers that you want. We say that prayer is asking for what we want. Meditation is listening for those answers. That's the difference between the two. Is meditation kind of like a prayer? Sort of, kind of, but not really. It's an inside prayer, an internal prayer. It's you clearing your mind and just letting whatever come and going within and making sure you get from beta to alpha to theta to delta and to gamma if you're really, really good at it. And you will get good at it. It takes practice like anything else. So how can you go about becoming that best version of yourself, closing that gap and being the best you can be? Meditation. So a few weeks ago, I walked you through the first phase of a healing and life-changing meditation, which is what the meditation is that I'm talking about. There's many different kinds of meditation and many different levels to figure out everything that you need to figure out. And the meditation that I'm talking about is a healing and life-changing, life-altering meditation that makes you be able to change whatever you want to change. How easy is that? It's as easy as finding the time to do it. If you don't do it, you're not going to change anything. You're not going to heal anything. You're not going to get rid of what you don't want anymore. You're not going to get the new stuff that you do want. Because without meditation, it's extremely difficult, if not impossible, to move forward in this direction. So the first thing in your meditation is your induction. And we walked through that a few Sundays ago, where you were noticing the space between your eyes and around your ears and around your head and around your feet and around your whole body. That's the induction, phase 1 of your meditation. So today we're going to talk a little bit about phase 2. I had given you the homework of figuring out one thing that you want to change about yourself. And I asked you to write it down, start keeping a little journal or a note system of some sort so that you can look back on that in future weeks and remember what your answers are that you've been thinking out. So, and again, you don't have to tell another human any of this. This is just for you, for your own consideration, you confess only to yourself and your higher self. You do not utter a word to another flawed human about the things that you hide, the things you don't want anybody to know, all the things inside you that you feel like you must hide because it doesn't fit in with what you see from the rest of the world. So, we're talking about that. And again, you can write down whatever you want, whatever the truth is, because you are the only one that is ever going to lay eyes on it. So please write it down. You're going to need it in the coming weeks as we progress through this process and walk you through this entire system so that you can become your best version. So the first thing you have to do is recognize. You have to recognize what it is about yourself that you don't like, that you want to change. You want to give it up. You want to do away with it. So let me give you some examples. You might have fear, shame, guilt, self-doubt, anxiety, depression, anger, hostility, hatred. You might have any of these things that are just in your life, and it seems no matter what you do, you just keep feeling them. You just keep thinking them and feeling them, and it's emotions that you just can't seem to get rid of, and they just squirt out of you as you go through life. And what happens is, as we go through life and we have all of our experiences, everything that everyone ever did to us in our life, we carry around on our back like a monkey. And unless we do something to get rid of it, it's still going to be there when we die. We're going to bring it on into the next life with us. So what we first want to do is recognize the things that we don't like about ourselves. And you started with one last week. So now I'd like you to make a list of 10 things, not right now, when you go home, a list of 10 things that you don't like about yourself and you want to change. It might be emotions. It might be feelings that are connected to those emotions or things that you think. For example, if you're dealing with anger, if you're angry all the time, your kids do something and instead of sitting them down and talk to them, you scream, why can't you do that? If that's you, then you have an anger issue and you're probably experiencing a great deal of frustration and anxiety along with that. Those are the lower levels of anger. When we get frustrated often, that is the beginning of going down that angry path. So the frustration turns into anxiety, and that anxiety turns into anger, and then it squirts out of you wherever you go because you have these unresolved issues from your childhood, from your teenage years, from your early adult years, from your middle adult years, and from your old age adult years. We all have experiences that make us feel a certain way. They may make us doubt ourselves. We may be lacking in self-confidence. We may be filled with hatred, maybe against certain groups of people, much like some of the world hates us, LGBTQIA plus people, because of who we are. Some people hate different races. Some people hate different nations, and the people that are born there are from there originally. Some people hate different kinds of groups based on your political beliefs or your religious or spiritual beliefs. People hate for all kinds of reasons, and when we hate, we're prejudiced and we discriminate, and we judge these people that we have hatred for. We might not see it as hatred. We might say, well, I'm just being honest about how I feel about all people with, red hair. And the truth of the matter is that you're judging all people with red hair for no reason whatsoever, because people with red hair just are born with it. Can they change the color if they want to? Sure, but they shouldn't have to. They should be able to be happy with their own color red hair and be accepted worldwide with their red hair. It's a difference than everybody else. But the problem is that we have all this hatred and judgment on planet Earth, and that forces us to want to be in what I call that human box. That box that we try to fit ourselves into so that we're just like everybody else. So we might dye our red hair and be a brunette. We might not own up to what country we're from. We might not say out loud our political beliefs or our religious or spiritual beliefs. We might just keep things to ourselves and hide them. So what does that do? That creates that gap that we're talking about. So these emotions, these fears of not fitting in that human box, make us hide the things that are real about us. It's why we don't meet people on the street and say, hi, I'm Jan. And I've been thinking a lot about, what is God? What is that about anyway? Is that real, or is that just some king's version of trying to control his kingdom? Is that a real thing? And what about that? What's my purpose here? I don't know what the heck that is. I get up every day, I go to work, I do what I think I'm supposed to do, I be the kind of person I think I'm supposed to be, and I just don't understand why I'm here. Why am I going through this thing called life? It has its good, bad, and ugly days, and why am I here doing this? What is the reason for this? Who am I? Who am I supposed to be? What are supposed to be my goals and ambitions? Oh yeah, by the way, I live down the street from you, so I just thought I'd share today. We just don't do that because we think we're the only things that are the only people that are thinking these things and feeling these emotions about the things that we think. We think we're the only ones with self-doubt. So we want to hide that and come off as really confident and secure. Those insecurities get you every time. And what we want to do is lessen that gap and be the person that we are. We don't have to say, hi, I'm Jan, and I've been thinking about what my purpose is today. But that could be a conversation. Hey, what are you doing to figure out what your purpose is? Are you making any headway there? I think about it all the time, and I'm not sure, but I think what I'm really supposed to do is be a pianist, and I'm a doctor, because, that's what my family and everybody I knew encouraged me to be. So I became this doctor, but really I love playing the piano, and that's what I live for, and that's what I want to do, and kind of miserable being a doctor because music is inside me. That's who I really am. So what do we have? The gap. Who we present to the world, that doctor, and who we actually are inside. And I use myself as an example. For many, many years, I was the teacher, the motivational speaker. I owned a school. I taught all kinds of things. But what I really knew I was supposed to be was a pastor. That's what was inside of me. Teaching things like this was who I have always been. As long as I can remember, I knew that this is what I should do. But I grew up and did all the things that life taught me I should do instead of what I should do, what I knew was me inside. So it took me a long time to come to the point where I realized that I had that gap. Who I really was inside versus who the world saw me to be. So I call that my day of realization. And since that day, I work consistently on everything I don't want inside me. I use this meditation that we're talking about to be life-changing, to alter who I am. I say to myself every day, change, 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 with all my little crappy habits and, all the things that probably drive my wife crazy or my kids or whoever's around me. Because we all have those things, and it's a continuing process to make us the absolute best version of ourselves. It's been a long time since I have a gap. I don't have a gap anymore because I just say who I am. If I have a gap, it might be about this big, because I don't just walk up to you and say, oh, guess what I did when I was 12. And but, I've done away with those things, and I don't feel like they're relevant anymore, but I'm not opposed to saying them. If it comes up in conversation, I'm not going to deny it. I'm going to be always as transparent as is humanly possible. And that's the point. Can we be transparent? When we are transparent, there is no more gap. There is no more gap when we are who we are instead of the facade we put on for the rest of the world. So, in phase 2, phase 1 being the induction, in phase 2, the thing that we have to do in this second step is recognize about ourselves the things we want to change. So you already have one thing that you figured out that you want to change. I want you to make a list of 10, and they can be emotions that you have, limiting beliefs that you have. For example, all redheads are terrible humans. That would be a really limiting belief. Fear, that emotion of fear is a limiting belief, because if you feel like you're afraid of anything, being yourself, then that actually alters your behaviors. Those emotions that run away with us become a mood. This thing that we always do, something triggers us, and there we are feeling that emotion again. We memorize those emotions. Our brains know that when it sees us thinking about those things, even if they happened 50 years ago, and now we're thinking about them. We're thinking about them all the time because it just stays with us. That's what our bad experiences do. They stay with us. So let's say that something happened when we were a child and it made us fearful of grown-ups. So that fear carries with us, and then every time we see an adult, our heart kind of does a little lurch, and we kind of get used to it because we see adults everywhere as an adult. And but our brain is always triggered, and that emotion of fear is always triggered by the thoughts in our brain. And what happens? The CEO of our brain says, "Uh-oh, we're fearful again. That old thing is happening again now," because our brains can't tell if it happened 50 years ago or it's happening today based on what we're thinking. That's what our brain knows, is what are we thinking or feeling right now in the now. And even if that's a repetitive thing, particularly if it's a repetitive thing, I'm fearful. Every time I step out of the house, I'm fearful whenever I see an adult. And maybe it's only men that I'm fearful of, or only women. Maybe we were abused by a man or abused by a woman when we were a child. That would make our hearts lurch a little bit every time we saw that particular image. Whether it's in our mind or in person. If we're at the grocery store and we see all these women and we're fearful of women, we're going to be ordering online and having the food delivered so we don't have to go there and experience all that fear. So the CEO of our brain says, uh-oh, we're going through this again. We're being abused by that woman. And then it acts accordingly. It makes us feel everything accordingly. It makes our behaviors everything according to that fear, and that's where we live. That's what happens to us. It's recurring over and over and over again. So what we have to do is reverse that. Yeah, I always say our thoughts create our destiny, and it couldn't be more true. What we think becomes our reality. So, if we are experiencing whatever it is, fear, self-doubt, anger, and no matter what emotion that is and what thoughts those are that are attached to it, what we want to do is recognize, we want to identify, because if you don't identify the problem, you can't fix it. And that's true with everything on the planet. So we want to identify, that's what the problem is right there. I experience fear because I was abused as a child by a woman, for example, and that's what makes me fearful of the women that I come in contact with. What happens because I'm fearful? I'm angry, I'm judgmental, I automatically am prejudiced and discriminate against women everywhere because I don't like them, I don't want to be around them. This is what happens. This is how our emotions become seamless. This is what it does to us. And then our brain identifies that this is what we're feeling, so it must be going on now. Our brain does not know the difference. So we have to reverse that. We have to stop thinking it. And we have to replace those thoughts with the thoughts that we want to have. So as you're writing your list of 10 things that you want to change about yourself, notice what goes along with them. If you're experiencing self-doubt, try to figure out, where did that come from? Why am I so doubtful? Was it because my parents constantly, were on me about being perfect in every way, first in school, at home, no matter where I was and what I was doing, my parents expected perfection out of me. So I'm always doubting myself because I'm never sure that I'm being perfect enough. And that has left a lasting impression on my life, and I want to change that. My parents are long gone. I don't have to feel that anymore. Let's first identify it. Self-doubt. I have that all the time, and it makes me not make choices that I could. It makes me not explore the things that I never have. It makes me close the door on so many opportunities because I'm fearful I will fail. We are so afraid of failures. So I want you to attach whatever is attached to those fears or for those emotions that you're having. If it's fear, where did the fear come from and what do you experience? Also, what happens in your body when you begin feeling fear? Do you tighten up? Do you stiffen up? Do you start getting hot and sweating? What happens? How does your body respond to that? Make a note of that too on each of those 10 things. And then we're going to progress. Each Sunday, we're going to move forward until you understand how to do this meditation. We'll do phase 2 of the meditation after we get through the first 4 steps. Now we've been through step 1 and step 2. So when you come in next Sunday and join us, please have your list with you so you can look back at it and remember the work that you've done during the week. So we're moving forward to become the best versions of ourselves. And in order to do that, we have to admit to to ourselves. We have to recognize what the behavior is, what the emotions are, what the limiting beliefs are, in order to move forward and be able to admit what our behavior is based on what we're feeling. So it's going to be all interconnected, and it's going to become very simple as you do it if you just do the steps one at a time. Next week, we'll do step 3. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you again.
Now,
M. Ward's Chinese translation.
I said, oh, why, see, I climbed the tall mountain. I met an old man, and he put through my tree. He said, now if you got some questions, go lay my feet. My time here's brief, and you'll have to pick just 3. And I said, what do you do with the pieces of a broken heart? And how can a man like me remain alive? Short as they say, then why is the night so long? And the sun went up and he sang for me this song. Said I once was a young fool, afraid to do things that I knew I had to do. So I played an escapade just like you. Yeah, I played an escapade just like you. After why see, I climbed the tall mountain. I met an old man beneath the sapling tree. He said, now if you got some questions, go and live at my feet. My time here is brief, and you have to pick just 3. And I said, what do you do with the pieces of a broken heart? How can a man like me remain in July? Short as they say, then why is the night so long? And the sun went up and he played for me this song.
Okay, let's sit straight up in our chairs. Feet flat on the floor. Shoulders back. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. And let go. Take another deep breath in. And let it go. So, as we worked with the root chakra today, and we talked about getting it in balance to experience more groundedness and peacefulness and connectedness, I want you to practice a breathing exercise with me that helps to bring the root chakra into alignment. We're going to breathe in through our nose, and then we are going to exhale with your mouth open And if you put your hand in front of your mouth, you should feel the breath coming out of your mouth. And it should be a bit audible. So, in through your nose, and out through your mouth. In through your nose, and out through your mouth. In. Keep going. As you do this breathing technique, it helps to quiet your mind and to just be with your breath. It helps your body calm down, your energetic body calm down, and feel peaceful. Feel the energy change in your body as you're doing this. You might feel a little heavier, as in like a grounded feeling. Your feet feel more connected to the ground. Perfect. Okay, so let's take a nice deep breath in, and an exhale out. Deep breath in, and exhale out. So this is a great exercise to work on getting this root chakra into alignment. Do it every day, or just a couple of minutes even. Just breathe like that and feel the difference in your body. You could open your eyes. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And now time for our benediction, Pastor Jay. Everybody please rise and repeat after me. Peace to my brothers.
Peace to my brothers.
Peace to my sisters.
Peace to my sisters.
Peace to my siblings.
Peace to my siblings.
Peace to the whole world. And peace to me.
And peace to me.
Thank you. Namaste. Go in peace and manifest what you will. Please stay after and join us in our drum circle for world peace. Thank you. Let us drum.